And that's what makes it so accessible to a wide audience really as well, that lots of different people can play it, but on entirely different levels. In many cases the challenge is actually not that hard to maybe win the jiggy, so a younger player can actually progress through the game perfectly well. But as Mark said, if you want to go to the other end, if you're a hardcore player, you can really go to town competing on the leaderboards against other players to see who can get like the best times or the best score. So anyway, I managed to kind of finish that challenge. I actually, it was okay. I didn't actually be able to win the jiggy using that vehicle, but it was at least better than the first effort. So what I did next was actually go back in, and I thought, well, the main problem really with the challenge is those two robots. They're kind of getting in my way, and they were causing me a lot of problems. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just add some weapons on and try and get rid of those at the beginning. So what I did here was actually added what we call the torpedo on. And I actually put two on. I put one on each side because I didn't want to fire these into the junk. If you remember, the junk's kind of in the middle. And my hope really was that I'd be able to fire either side and get rid of those the gun box. So I just need to stick some ammo on as well. And then I had another go again. So now I can just take to the garage. And start the game again. So again, I'm just going to assign the torpedo to the X button. I'm just going to fire a couple either side of the jump there. And now they're out of the way, I can actually just wade straight in and push the whole lot in. And that should be all 12. So obviously using that method, eventually when I figured it out, I can actually do the whole challenge really quite simply in 18 seconds. So hopefully it kind of shows that a lot of fun to be had by playing these challenges again and again. Even though it only took me a few minutes each time, you can just kind of keep going in and tweaking your vehicle to try and get better and better performance out of it. And as we said, the ability to have these better components later on in the game will allow you to go back to earlier challenges, which at the time you were just restricted to one method, and then you can do it in a variety of different ways. So now that I've won the jiggy, I can actually head back into Showdown Town. Now I can show you kind of the relevance of winning that jiggy in terms of progressing through the game. Okay, so in a slight change from the old banjo games, instead of just actually winning the jiggy, you have to do what we now call vend the jiggy. This is what we call a jiggy vend. There's one of these for each game world, so this is the one for Terrarium. And you can see there's actually two jiggies in there right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, again, use this switch to take the jiggies out of the vend, and they'll actually land in my car. So now I'm just going to head back round towards the town square, where we have actually what we call the jiggy bank. Now the police, this is quite interesting, because the police Showdown Town are actually a corrupt police force of pigs and weasels, and they are not too happy about banjo being around, especially in trying to win all the jiggies. So they're going to kind of do whatever they can to stop me, and that's kind of part of the gameplay on Showdown Town, is to get this jiggy through town without them getting it back. If they are successful getting it back, you won't lose the jiggy, it will just end up back in the vend and you have to have another go. And again, in the same way as the plinths work, these the location of the jiggy vends get further and further from the bank as you progress through the game, making it slightly harder. So this is the jiggy bank hanging above the square here. There's currently 89 jiggies in it. And as I drive underneath, that will get sucked up, taking the total to 90. And if you remember, that door there required 90, so that door's now open as well. So that again sort of illustrates the progression through the game and how that's controlled.
So the progression's pretty similar to the other banjo game. It's almost like an upside down triangle where you don't need to complete everything in each world, but when you've completed say 2 or 3 challenges in one world, it will then open up another world that you can go in.